Thanks for staying with us. So Wednesdays, we discuss family issues also and how to empower women. And one of the messages we got online was that of a mother who is distraught because her child got HIV. And the reason why her child got HIV was because he was obviously sexually active, and she did not know her child was sexually active. He's 16 years old, and she's having to deal with a child who's been infected. Now, this woman is blaming herself because how did she miss the signs? How did she not see that her 16-year-old was active to the point where he had several partners to the point where he got infected? Now, today he's 21 years old, and she's been able to manage this HIV situation for 5 years. He wants to find love, and he's faced with the conversation, do I tell or do I not tell? She's saying, she's advising him not to, because there are ways of working around. Eventually, when you meet this person, when you're in love, then she can know. But he is worried. And so the message I got was from this boy saying that his mother has cared for him. He's the only one that stayed because his father left. The whole family abandoned him. How can I be living with the child infected with HIV? So now the boy is saying, how do I move on with my life where I've been alienated by my family? I want to find love. There's a woman I want to be with, but unfortunately, I don't know. I don't want to lose her. So in this situation, how do we help a young 21-year-old man in moving forward with his life?
Morayo, I love that we're talking about HIV because for many years, I mean, I think maybe the past 4 to 5 years, you know, there have been new statistics about new HIV infections. And I don't know if you remember when we were growing up, HIV awareness was top and foremost, you know, on TV. We were scared of it. We were afraid. We knew what to do to protect ourselves. But they said that awareness had sort of dwindled, and many young people were not even aware of some of the risk. And recently, they've been recording new infections, you know, so it's an important conversation to have because for a lot of young people, especially in this age group that you have mentioned, it is scary for them. For us, I feel that we have gone through that scary part. We know the steps that you need to take to live a healthy life and also what you need to do when it is time for you to be with a partner. So to talk about him specifically, which is I'm 21 and I want to start dating, and there are many questions here. Is first of all, in the time that he learned that he had HIV and his mother was caring for him, was there any work towards his sexual activity since then? Did he now become, celibate, you know, during that time? I hope he wasn't still engaging in sexual activities and not even doing it safely, you know. So I hope that there was a period between this 16 to 21 where he's saying that, so I kept myself and I focused on my therapy or the drugs that I'm meant to take, and I have, you know, and now I'm ready to start dating. And one thing with dating is that somebody may start asking about intimacy, although at 21, I still think you're too young. But, but you know, here we are. I feel that when you start having relationships with people, when you think that this may be, you know, beyond a friend, I may want to take this intimate, the person is leaning on to you to kiss you, you owe that person the information. You know, I have a story actually. You owe that person, you know, that information at that time. Because I know of someone quite close, and I hope they're not watching, where it was at a few days to the wedding that they found out that the groom had HIV. Well, I'm not sure. So the story is the bride knew, but it was a few days to the wedding that she opened up to her family that he had HIV. And it happened that, you know, some churches will require that you bring those test results. And that was when so that marriage, as for the parents, as far as we're concerned, you stop it right now. We're not listening to anything, so you want to endanger our child. You know, so that conversation back and forth. The way it ended, I can't tell you, you know, how it ended, but there were two sides to the story. Some people said, well, these are two adults. She has always known, so she's made the decision to go ahead. And these parents are thinking, no, you've deceived our daughter, you've lied to her, and that's why you didn't want the family to know, so you can deceive her into getting married. So that's why I say he's too young really to even be talking about this dating, because when it comes to matters like this, you have parents involved, that will determine where you should go. At the point where you're full-grown adult and you're dealing with another adult, actually there's a point where the adults in your life will say, okay, this is the decision you've taken, and then you're willing to bear the consequences of this decision that you have taken.
I would like to link this story, because I know there was a video that I also saw of a man who said that his wife chased him out of the house. He had kids, right? Because he stepped out of his marriage. He cheated on his wife. He had HIV. And then when she found out, she left the house, right? And now, because she thought that he was going to die, so she left with his children. Fast forward, he's still alive. And he's like, if she hadn't left, we'll still be together. So he also has his own regrets, and he's only wishing that she didn't stay, and she should have stayed. But I would like to get callers who have HIV or who have lived with HIV. I would love to hear from you to see partners, how you've lived, how you survived, because the conversation is there, but we don't really have it often. So if you're living with HIV, I would really like you to call the numbers on your screen. 081, let me see if I can get the numbers on the screen. I'm not sure. I'm sure we can have it scrolled on the screen right now. So that's 081 7641 679 090 241 63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. We'd like to hear from Nigerians who are living with HIV and how they are living successful lives, and see how people who are faced with partners or situations can know how to work with these people, because sometimes we forget that there are ways of managing these conditions or this disease, and people fail to realize that. Let me come to you, talk about Morayo.
So there was a time, a few years ago, that once you hear HIV, once the word HIV comes together, it's a death sentence. It's like this person is going to die a very gruesome death. It's going to be AIDS. They will now fall so sick. They'll be so skinny. That's the picture that we were sold about HIV growing into what we saw. But it's different now, and we must put it out there. The virus is still real. The harmful effect on the lives of people is still there. The extra protection we must have is still there, but it's no longer a death sentence, and we still have that misconception out there. So that's why if somebody will hear that the husband has HIV, if it is something that just happened, the person will just might be running away with family, because they don't understand that they can live effectively with the person that has HIV virus, and you won't get infected as long as the person's viral load is very small, which is based on using retroviral drugs, which they are meant to use on a consistent basis. There are people that they've used the drugs so well and kept their lifestyle that when they test them, it's negative, but they still carriers if they do not maintain their self. So the misconception needs to be addressed with public information, because when you have misinformation, people will react to what they know, and the reaction will be gruesome. We're now victimized, and some people get HIV without even being promiscuous. People have HIV from going to barbing salons or being or unfortunate to live with someone who didn't protect themselves, and you now have to live with that reality. So the assumption of, for you to have HIV, you must have slept around with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Not necessarily.
Let me take this call. Lizzie, good morning. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Good morning, Lizzie.
Yeah. How are you?
Very well. Good morning.
Okay, so it's a fantastic question. It touches me personally from experience. So just side to this idea does not fear. Can you hear me?
It was very hard to hear you, but go ahead.
Is it clearer now?
Yes, it is.
So please, there are two sides to this. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, there are two sides. There's the side of disease where everybody wants to come.
I really want to talk to Lizzie. I really want to.
I was just going to just add one more thing to what I was saying about the fact that it's not all. I ended up saying that it's not every HIV case that is about promiscuity, but in advice to someone going forward, the truth is very heavy when it comes to these kind of things, especially if the person you're talking to does not have an idea of how to manage it. For the boy who wants to date and is wondering, should I tell the person I want to date that I have HIV, or should I not say? Because if you say it, it's like you telling somebody I'm an SS. Sometimes immediately you say it, that's the end of the relationship. So you need, like Mariam mentioned something about maturity, you need a level of maturity that even if you now make your decision, relatives would not be able to pressure you into changing your mind. Because sometimes you might meet someone that loves you and the person is willing to take you with the HIV and say, I can live with this person, I love him enough, or I love her enough. And the family members say, we love you much more than you love this person. You cannot do it. But depending on the maturity or the age of both parties involved, so 21 might be totally young to be thinking of making a show like this. The focus should be on maintaining a low viral level, maintaining the person's health, growing to be a person of such huge value that your HIV is no longer because if you are Dangote with HIV, they will marry you. If you are Bill Gates with HIV, let's just call it. It's because but if you no, I'm not saying just cash alone, no, not just cash value, but just be a valuable person that we will be willing to manage the risk that comes with being.
All right, let me come to Ramatu as also. Let me Ramatu jump in.
I know what I said.
Yes, go ahead, jump in here.
Okay, so when you hear something like this, most times, I always like to put myself, like for that man, I'll put myself in the wife's shoes. I think the first thing I'm going to do is to move out of the house, just like what the wife did. The reason is this is because the circumstance on how he got the HIV, now she has to deal with the fact that he cheated. And again, he didn't only cheat, he also brought a deadly disease into the family. So first of all, he was not supposed to break it out to her. I think he needed a professional to come and help him talk to the wife, because he can't just tell her yes, to talk to her and tell her and maybe disclose the whole thing to her. He can't just be the one to do it. Yes. First of all. Then number two, I think I've seen people who have who died from HIV. I saw the way they
AIDS.
Yes, from AIDS. When it had turned to full-blown AIDS, I saw the way they emaciated, and then later on they died and left children. So for the wife leaving the house, she will definitely, I think she needs therapy, she needs to be talked to on how she can manage, instead of just leaving the house. I would just say she would have just taken a break, instead of leaving him totally.
But I really want to also, because I understand the issue of it, I want to also see today how we are managing, because there are people living successful lives with this. Let me take this call from Melvin. I'll come to you, Mariam. Melvin from Surulere, thanks for calling. You're live. Good morning, Melvin.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Okay, so this is a very, very good topic. I'm actually living with this virus, and apparently I was in a relationship with somebody, and I actually told her about it. And of course, the news came to her as a shocker. But you see, I think she was able to accept the news, and we actually dated for a while, for a long time. And although we're not together, but it wasn't because of the situation or something unrelated, you know. So I think that a lot of people need to be educated about this, because this, you know, thank God she had prior knowledge about this disease. You know, she even went for counseling, and she was well educated, you know, because people have this misconception that when you have this virus, you know, you can't get married, you can't, the other party that is negative cannot get involved with somebody that has the virus. So I think a lot needs to be done to sensitize people, the public, on what the whole thing about the whole myth.
Melvin?
Was really,
yes, are you currently in another relationship?
No, not at the moment. Not at the
but it's
moment.
what you disclose.
I'm just taking my time.
I don't know, Melvin, I don't know if it's not too personal. Do you know how you contracted the virus? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, sure. It was through sexual transmission. I had the sexual I think from somebody. That was, and unfortunately, that person did not even tell me that she had the virus. Do you understand? You know, so it was after like some days, and she called me and she was like, "I need to go check myself." So I was like, "What is this one talking about?" You know, and everything. So it was much later when the symptoms came up, and I went to the hospital. So I was told. So I tried to call the person that, "Hey, you didn't tell me that, you know, you have this thing, and you know, cause." You know, so that's actually what happened.
Right.
It actually took me to a very dark place because, you know, I became very depressed. But thank God I have family, I have a very strong net siblings that, you know, they stood behind me, you know, and, you know.
Thank you very much, Melvin, for sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
You. Wow. I mean, you know, that he called. Thank you for sharing.
I mean,
so
go ahead.
I wanted to say earlier, right, especially with talking about the advancement in medicine that has happened and how people are able to live like a full life, a wholesome life, even with HIV. I feel that is important to know. But sometimes we say it so much that we don't prepare for those who are not infected yet. You know, make it seem like, you know, it's something, it's fine, it's okay. And then people are getting infected, you know, in recent times. And that is what the body, you know, has been talking about, that there are new infections. There are new infections. So we don't want the messaging should be, yes, about the awareness and be educated on how to, but also for people who don't even have it, to understand that you still need to have safe sex. It does have an impact on your life, physically as well as mentally, you know. For some people, they're able to get the support that they need and continue to live well. But there are some people that this will take them, as he said in his own case, it took him to a dark place. So I want us that when we talk about this, we also make sure that young people are aware. You're 16, you're 17. To be honest, a lot of young people are already having sex one way or the other. And because of the medical advancement in treating HIV, they don't think about safe sex. They don't think, a lot of people just think pregnancies. So these are some of the things that you need to put into consideration. You're a young man about to go in, and I know that there's the way our world talks about a young man and sowing his wild oats. You know, you just feel, I'm out on the streets. You can't afford to be that because there are many things out there that you can contract. And for those who have contracted it, I hope that, you know, you get the support and the education that you need to be able to live a full life, and then understand that you have a responsibility to be open to those and honest with those that you find yourself in a relationship with.
You know, I mean, I didn't want to go too personal with Melvin. There's a lot of people who don't have these virus. They always try to imagine what it is like being in a relationship with somebody who has it. So it's been nice for that kind of conversation to be had. Tell us, okay, do you have unprotected? Do you protect yourself? What do you do? How is it done? How do you
ensure the person doesn't get infected?
Yeah, so those are the things that we need to make it public so that people know and they're comfortable having a relationship with.
So another thing, while I'm going to be saying something that will seem like, oh, this is good news for people that are living with HIV, but because we need to balance it, Magic Johnson had HIV 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Still alive, still doing well, till today, 30 years after. And when he was tested before a show last year, it wasn't detectable. The level of the viral load, it wasn't detectable. So you can actually have a full life with HIV. And this is for those that already have it. But it doesn't mean that you should now go and have fun and then have it. Because in Nigeria, it is expensive to maintain it.
Yes.
The drugs are expensive, they are not available, and as dollar goes up, the cost of maintaining your lifestyle with HIV goes higher. And even while you might be able to say, I'm okay, I'm all of that, in the spirit of honesty, you disclose it, you cannot tell whether the love of your life would walk away from you because they cannot deal with the reality of your, what life has happened to you. So yes, Magic Johnson is a testimony to the fact that you can live, and there are many other people that are living well with it.
Yeah. There was a lady of your view, remember? There was a lady that was supposed to join Ladies of Your View. Remember when part of the auditions?
Okay.
And so while she was auditioning, she told me that, Morayo, this is the situation. And I'm like, oh, sure, we would love to have you. In fact, it would be great to have you amongst ladies, because it would have been an opportunity for us to sensitize people about how you can live with the virus and still have a successful life. Let me take Ayomide, Mali Mosho, and I'll come to you, Roberto. Ayomide, you're live. Thanks for calling. Good morning, Ayomide. You're live.
Hello.
Yes, you're live.
Hello.
Hello?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Very clearly. We've been hearing you.
I just nod your head because I'm watching and muted. Okay, I am living with the virus. I don't know if you can. Okay, I am living with the virus.
Okay.
I remember when I told my husband now, years ago, that, oh, I have this, and all. He went all out and was really angry, so I thought I was losing. And then I came up with a lie and said, oh, I was actually lying. I was trying to test you to see how much love you have for me and all. So he said, I don't know, probably because of the love, they believed it was all a lie, because of course, I've probably used one. I told him I had a child before just to test him. So he felt, okay, that was part of me testing him. Anyway, long story short, I have a child now, a year and 6 months. I was worried at first, like, I don't want to give birth now. I wouldn't want my child to have HIV now. And I just went to do the test last 2 weeks, which is the final day, and she is negative. I make sure my husband tests himself every now and then, like, oh, I just like, have you done your HIV test? He was like, why are you on and on about HIV test? So I didn't come out with it anymore. It's because of this, it's because of that. So I make sure he checked. In fact, we had a discussion for 2 days ago. I don't know, he checked last month and he's negative. I was married for like 4 years now. And how I contacted it was, I was saying my dad died, my mom, I persuaded her after about some years, about 10 years to remarry. Unfortunately, the person was stubborn and her was promiscuous. So she got it from the man, and of course, we share blade and all in the house. I guess that's how I got it. So she's living healthy, I'm living healthy. I can say, okay, yeah, I got it from her. But I didn't get it through section. She got it through section. And she got it.
Oh, I mean,
I don't get
hear you well.
Could you take your
the
time?
line isn't clear.
I am
Could she help
We
us tell
couldn't
us?
hear her very well in the studio, but I'm hoping our viewers heard her at home. It's possible they heard her at home very well. But it was difficult for us.
Yeah.
And she got it from somebody.
Yeah, it said like
And
a mom. I think
mom, somebody.
But it's not, no, you don't get it through breastfeeding, I don't think.
You don't get
No,
it because
if you take the drugs and you
But she's
can
saying
get
it was a
it.
blade or something, and they shared
Okay.
utensils or something like that. But
Of
I didn't
course
really
you
get-
can. So that
I
we
get
don't
it through
misinform.
breastfeeding.
So we don't misinform people. You can if you're not taking your medications and you're not. The medication helps to keep your viral load low enough, you know.
that
So
should not be able to
because I know that at the time when we started hearing it, they were one of the ways to stop transmitting from mother to child was to ask them not to breastfeed.
Yeah.
But for now, maybe with new medication, there's a way that you can. But you have to be on your medication.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll take more calls and more messages. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. I know we've been talking about HIV, and it's a conversation we need to continue to have. Unfortunately, we have to wrap up on this because our guest is here. But I know a few comments on social media came up. Ramati, you want to start with yours?
Okay, yes. So Ghania said that some of the drugs, that it's free in government hospitals. You can buy from pharmacies at your wish, but they are very expensive. Not all of them are even available in pharmacies because the supply chain is mostly to government hospitals.
Papa Diago.
Yeah, Fiona says the depression that comes with having HIV at a young age.
Thank you,
People,
Fiona.
young people, protect yourself. My friend almost committed suicide then. Now me turned counselor because she couldn't tell her parents.
Oh.
So this is, I think that's
Right.
a good way to.
Yeah.
So join us now on the show. I mean, we have to just wrap up on this, but definitely we'll bring back the topic. It's a topic worth talking about because there are a lot of people living with HIV, and they need to let the world know that you can live and marry us, and there'll be no issue of spread in these unions.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.